Hello all, this is Todd, and sorry I can't be with you there today. I am over in Prescott. Chris asked me to share a little bit about the new Rubric feature in Blackboard, and so I'm going to try my best here in this video to do it in about 5 minutes or less. So, and you'll have access to this video after the session. So here's what I know. This is a new feature in Blackboard, and if you've used Rubrics in your other courses, you'll know that they're a great tool for creating a little bit more clarity in regards to expectations, and because they are laid out in sort of a grid format, sometimes it's just easier to read. So here we go. To create a rubric in your class that you can attach to any graded discussion form or any graded assignment, you use your control panel and go to Course Tools and scroll down to Rubrics. So when you select Rubrics, it's going to look like this, except you won't have these two items here. I'm going to show you one of these in a second. You will have Create Rubric and Import Rubric, and you want to create a rubric. So by default, you must give it a name, and you should describe it clearly, what it's for and how it's being used. And here is just that very basic grid-like rubric environment. And by default, these are all the default settings. It's based on a %. You might want to change that to points, especially if your assignments go by points. And you'll notice that these guys change down here. So again, here is the %. The weight of all of these areas is done in a %, and so is the score. Most of our teachers probably would want to use points. So here, and this again is just the default rubric, and it's kind of geared towards like a writing assignment because it's got formatting, organization, and grammar. You can change this to anything you want. This could be, clarity or something along those lines. You could edit any of these to be anything you'd like, as well as the levels of achievement could be fail. Probably don't want to use that. But you can also add either rows or columns to this. So this could have several different degrees of achievement, and the criteria could be 2 or 10. So you can add a row or column up here. So if you'll check out the points here and look at the total points down in the bottom left, if the failure level is 0, and I encourage you not to use fail probably, but if you change the points from here to 1 for competent, let's say, and a 2 for proficient, look, the total points possible for this rubric currently are 2. So if we continue doing that here and change these all to 1s and 2s, you'll notice that now it's worth 6 points total. So that's the rubric. The real trick is writing in the details for each level and what the expectations are. That's the art of the rubric, and I'm going to show you one that's already done here right now. So as I go back here into the rubrics area, I can select this and edit one of these, and here's one that is done and completed. So again, it's below expectations, proficient, and exemplary, and this is for a discussion board. So here are all of the criteria that this teacher chose to assign here, and here are the nice, clear descriptions of each of those things. So that's how to create a rubric, and now I am going to show you how to add it to a discussion board or an assignment. So the first thing I'm going to do up here is create an assessment, or an assignment, and I've got only 30 seconds left, 5 minutes. We're not going to do this in 5 minutes. It's going to take a little bit more. So I'm going to create the assignment and fill in the directions. And now down here in grading, this is the new part that was not here just a couple months ago. I am going to add a rubric, and I'm going to select one because I've already made one. And I'm going to use this one, Grading Rubric for Blogs. So I'm going to select it here in the checkbox and click Submit. And so click OK to assign the rubric's maximum points. That means I'm just going to use the point value that I created on the rubric. So this points possible is 25. Now this is important. Over here on the right, you'll see that there's some options. We're going to use this for grading. That's the type. But by default, students don't get to see the nice, cool rubric. I'm going to change that to yes with rubric scores so that they can see the scores on the rubric as I graded it. So I've just added a rubric to an assignment, okay? And I'm going to come down here and click Submit. And so this is what it looks. It looks just like your normal assignment. I am going to then come down here to a discussion board and do that same thing to a form. So here is a form, and to add a rubric, I'm just going to go back into the form and edit it. Here's my normal form. By default, forms are not graded. When you select Grade this form, look, now you get the Add Rubric down here below. And again, you can select the rubric you created. I'm going to use the one for discussion boards here. Click Submit. And now it's going to ask me that same thing, and the maximum points for the rubric. OK. And again, I'm going to change this so that the students can see that, and I'm going to show you why right now. So I'm going to jump into what the student sees here. Okay, so I know we're at 6 minutes already, but let me just keep going. So I'm going to log out here as the teacher and get back into this course as a student. Okay, so I am in this class now as a student. So I'm going to go in here and go to the discussion board, and I am going to see that there is this discussion form that I'm supposed to enter, and I'm going to go in and create a thread. And I'm going to do this so that you can see what this looks like once you're in here as the teacher. I'm going to type some nonsense in here and click Submit. So that's, and I want to show you this in a minute when we get back into the teaching, or as the teacher view. So if I come up here to my rubrics where that assignment was, so here is your basic assignment, and I'm going to complete this assignment as the student. Look, now you can view the rubric that the teacher created, and when you select that, you get this pop-up window that has the expectations for that assignment. Super nice. This is very, very cool. So as the student, you can see up front what those expectations are in the assignment. So I'm going to go ahead and submit my work here, and click Submit. And so now, as the student, I have submitted both a discussion board and an assignment. So now I'm going to go pause again, and I'm going to go back in here as the teacher so you can see what this looks like when you grade it. Okay, so now I am back in the class as a teacher. My student, Conaway person, has submitted both a discussion form, and I'm going to grade that, and he's also submitted an assignment. So I'm going to go to the Grade Center, and we're going to see we have two little exclamation points here, meaning that we have to grade these things. So the first thing I'm going to do here is go to the Add a Rubric to the discussion board. So this is the discussion form. So I'm going to go to View User Activity, and this is kind of the normal way that we go in here and grade. So here's what this student posted, and we are going to go in here and select Edit Grade. Now by default it looks just like it did before. You can give the feedback to the student here, and you can give yourself some notes. You can assign them the grade they get. But now, because I've added this rubric, I can select grading the rubric itself, and look, here's the point values for each of those items. So if I go through here and I give this person some of these grades, you can see that by automatically it shows the total that I've assigned using this rubric. So if I come up here now and click Submit, look, it gave him, according to the rubric, it gave him these points. I can give him some feedback and then click Save. So now he's got 5 out of 10 points. So if I go, so that's grading the discussion form. If I go back here to the Grade Center, now I'm going to grade the assignment. So I'm going to select the drop-down menu and go to View Grade Details and View Attempt. So here, we've seen this before. This is what it usually looks like, except now, because we've added the rubric, there is a View Rubric over here on the left side. So I'm going to select View Rubric, and this is super nice. So here I can use these radial buttons and add feedback to the student. After viewing the person's work, we can give them these points. So you can give them not only what they met the criteria on the rubric, but you can give them feedback on those specific assignments. And look, once again, we already have our total according to the things we selected up here. So I'm going to save that. If I want to give the students some more feedback, which is always a good idea, I can do that there and click Submit. Now we're at like 11 minutes and 45 seconds. So that's how the teacher would use the rubric in grading. Let me show you what the student sees again, because this is in their grade book, because this is really neat. Okay, so I am back here as a student, and I am going to view my grades because I've completed these assignments. So when I look at my grade book, here are the two that we just did, the adding a rubric to the discussion board form and the test. So you can see when I submitted it, when the teacher did this stuff, and look, here's my grade, and below each of those is the view rubric. Here is the points possible, total, and here are additional comments from the instructor. So I want to go see what the teacher said about how I did on the discussion board, because I only got half of the total points possible. So when I click on View Rubric, I get this window, and it shows what the teacher selected in each of the criteria areas. Very nice visual display of why I got that grade. So the next one down here is the assignment that I completed. So I'm going to click View Rubric. And here it shows it in that same grid format, and it shows the specific feedback that the teacher gave me for why I got each of these point values. So that's what the student sees, which is a really, depending on how you comment on your student work, this can add more detail to what the student sees in response to each of their assignments or their discussion board forms. So that's 13 minutes and 37 seconds. Sorry that took so long, but that's what the rubrics are. You can come to the TELS office here on the Verde anytime, and I'd be happy to help you with any of these. Thanks.